Big news of the week, Fox fired Tucker Carlson. Fox has gone left, they've gone woke. We're clearly calling them out for it. Tucker is a great voice for conservatives across the country. He doesn't have the platform anymore. Will you weigh in on Fox's decision to fire probably one of the more conservative voices, most important voices in America?
Absolutely. I think it was devastating to our First Amendment, Eric. I see it as a very serious problem. Our First Amendment is free speech, but it's also freedom of press. And when a gigantic media company like Fox News fires their number one, Tucker Carlson, not for him doing anything wrong, not because his ratings were bad, but they literally fired him because they caved to the woke mob. What we're seeing is we're seeing the end of the First Amendment. That's how I see it. I can't see it any other way. We've seen censorship out of control. We saw the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, align with big tech to censor Americans for several years now on political issues because they weren't speaking the speech that was the chosen speech to say. Well, neither was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was pushing the limit every single night on his show, and he was telling the news stories that the American people wanted to hear. I also want to point out that many Democrats even watched Tucker Carlson's show, and he was making a true difference. But Fox News caved to the woke mob, and they are paying the price. I'm hearing from many people that have deleted their Fox News apps. I'm hearing from many people that have canceled their Fox Nation subscriptions. And this is a very poor choice for a company to fire their number one that is leading to direct results, that the same kind of results that Bud Light has experienced by promoting Dylan Mulvaney, a biological male that prances around like a prepubescent teenage girl. But they fired Tucker Carlson, and so they're going to feel the results from Americans that are not happy about this.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene melting down in the aftermath of Tucker Carlson's firing from Fox News. And just a few points here. First off, she claims that this is the end of the First Amendment. Okay, this is probably not the end of the First Amendment because this quite literally has nothing to do with the First Amendment. So that we're clear, in case there are any Republican lawmakers watching right now, a private company exercising the right to terminate their contract with on-air talent has nothing to do whatsoever with the First Amendment. The First Amendment is there to allow for free speech without government interference. Fox News is not the government, which tells us two things. First, there is no free speech violation here, and second, Marjorie Taylor Greene is dumb. And in case you ever forget it, don't worry, she'll remind you. Notice how she also tries to claim that Fox fired Tucker despite this notion that he did nothing wrong. Now, I recognize that Greene might watch Tucker Carlson, which might explain why she's not super up on the actual news, but the guy was a principal player in the Dominion lawsuit that resulted in Fox settling for a historic $787 million. And of course, the Smartmatic lawsuit for $2.7 billion is also right around the corner that deals with the exact same lies as the Dominion lawsuit. And in case you doubted Tucker's culpability in these cases, here he is putting Mike Lindell on air to spew his bogus election claims.
With this particular thing that's going on now, I've been all in trying to find the machine fraud, and we found it. We have all the evidence. So what all these outlets that have been calling me from the Washington Post, New York Times, every outlet in the country, they go, Mike Lindell, there's no evidence and he's making fraudulent statements. No, I have the evidence. I dare people to put it on. I dare Dominion to sue me because then it would get out faster.
And it's not just these voting systems lawsuits where Tucker's proven himself a liability. His own former senior producer, Abby Grossberg, has also filed suit against the company, claiming gender discrimination among other allegations while working on his show, meaning that the cost of Tucker's lies and behavior goes even beyond the financial penalties that Fox has already incurred. So when Greene suggests that Tucker did nothing wrong, I wonder what she would consider hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in payouts thanks to his actions. Greene then goes on to suggest that Tucker was fired from Fox as part of some grand conspiracy to silence those who don't toe the establishment line. Here's that quote.
We saw the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, align with big tech to censor Americans for several years now on political issues because they weren't speaking the speech that was the chosen speech to say. Well, neither was Tucker Carlson.
Ah, yes, they weren't speaking the speech that was the chosen speech to say. Perfectly stated. But aside from that nugget of wisdom, give me a break. As if Fox News is some big tech-aligned platform. This is the network that went all in on the big lie, on insurrection apology, on white supremacy, on xenophobia. The idea that Fox was this bastion of censorship is an absolute joke. And anyone who believes that is either stupid or thinks that the people listening to them are. In the case of Greene, I'm legitimately not sure which one it is. And finally, Greene says that many people have canceled their Fox Nation subscriptions, which, first off, good, not gonna hear me complain about that. But second, it always is funny to hear these freedom of speech, freedom of expression, free market, small government conservatives go all in on their daily boycotts every single time they don't get their way. If you were taking your cues from these free market conservatives, you'd have boycotted Starbucks, Bud Light, the NFL, Hershey's, M&M's, Mr. Potato Head, Dr. Seuss, Disney. I mean, give it a year or so and the only thing that Republicans are going to be able to do is stare at a wall, which I would argue still beats listening to Tucker Carlson or Marjorie Taylor Greene. And let's be clear, Greene doesn't seem to be letting up on this issue. Here she is with Matt Gaetz for his podcast.
That Fox News has no idea how badly they're hurting their company. Everyone I've talked to has deleted the Fox News app on their phones. People are canceling their Fox Nation subscriptions. People are saying, I am done with Fox. And then I heard this morning on Fox and Friends, I was watching it. They never have me on anyway, so I can talk about them. And I'm not afraid of that. I'm not going to be controlled by, oh, shoot, I might hurt.
No one should be.
Yeah, who cares? So they were talking about the difference of, we need to give moderate Republicans a chance because, it's the MAGA Republicans that may be the problem. And that was the angle they were talking about on Fox and Friends. And I was like, okay, you guys fired Tucker Carlson. You guys did this. You caved to the woke mob. And then you want to turn on MAGA? Be my guest.
No, please, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Fox News, don't fight. Don't destroy each other. Please. What's amazing here is that, for once, Fox was actually right. Since Trump brought this whole notion of MAGA Republicans into the mainstream, the GOP has suffered losses in every single election cycle, 2018, 2020, 2022. You'd have to be brain dead not to see what a drag on the GOP Trumpism is. With that said, Greene decidedly doesn't agree, and to be honest, that's completely fine by me. And notice how she slips up and says this.
People are saying, I am done with Fox. And then I heard this morning on Fox and Friends, I was watching it. They never have me on anyway, so I can talk about them. And I'm not afraid of that. I'm not going to be controlled by, oh, shoot, I might hurt.
No one should be.
Yeah, who cares?
That she's free to badmouth Fox because they don't have her on air. And then, of course, she realizes what she just says and tries to qualify her previous statement by saying, oh, not that I would ever be controlled by who's let me on air. Right, these people love to present themselves as free speech warriors, but the truth is that they are beholden to the gatekeepers just like everyone else. If you think that Marjorie Taylor Greene would badmouth Fox if she was placed on their weekly rotation, you are kidding yourself. She's interested solely in self-promotion, and she'll kowtow to whoever's going to give that to her. So she'll try and sell this facade of free speech, but the only principle that she actually stands for is self-promotion. So while Republicans try and come to terms with Tucker's firing, this is one instance where we should be perfectly content to let them fight. The fracturing of the right is a long time coming, and given the fact that neither side seems content to concede defeat, I'd imagine that things are going to go from bad to worse in the coming months. Before you go, I need your help. I'm right on the cusp of hitting 2 million subscribers, so please help me grow this channel so the progressive media ecosystem grows by hitting the subscribe button right here on the screen. I also started a Spanish channel so we can finally start regaining some of that lost ground among Spanish speakers, so if you want to help support those efforts, you can hit that subscribe button. And finally, if you listen to podcasts and you want to support mine, you'll find a link to that on the screen as well. Thanks so much for watching.